I'll tell you about the scheme coverage. It covers electric vehicles and anything that is zero emission. It does not cover low emission, it covers zero emission. Now that scheme was approximately applied for by 100 to 105 applicants. But as on date, only 5 or 6 applicants have been able to successfully get the incentive under that particular scheme. The remaining could not get because they could not meet the requirement of the scheme. And the requirements were that A, there has to be a domestic value addition in India, almost 50%, which the industry was finding difficult to achieve on account of non-availability of critical components like battery or critical other items like rare earth magnet, like I spoke. Government came up with relaxation. Even after that, the domestic value addition norms companies are finding difficult to achieve. The second criteria was the investment threshold. Like, to give you an example, for a four-wheeler segment, the requirement was 2,000 crores investment over a span of 5 years. And those also year on year companies are finding difficult to meet, because for manufacturing it depends that how much investment they want to make. And the third criteria was the sales criteria, but with the sales uptick and export also combined, they are able to meet the criteria. So the first requirement is that if this scheme can be somehow revamped and relaxed, and so that more people who applied for, they can get benefit under the scheme. And this has happened in other production linked incentive schemes where 2.0 or even 3.0, twice or thrice the scheme has been revamped with some relaxation or extended benefits. More applicants could have come in, as well as the ongoing applicants could have got more benefit. That factor is yet to be seen under the automotive PLI. So if that expands, it will be good for the time to come and more manufacturers can avail the benefit. Having said that, the success of the ACC PLI scheme as well as the recently launched rare earth magnet scheme will also have to be seen in the upcoming years, because these are recent schemes, so the plants are yet to be commercialized and therefore the sales have to happen. But upcoming years look bright from this perspective. It is expected that the GST rate on the public charging infrastructure, right now it's about 18%, if that can also come down to 5%, then the cost of availing those infrastructure services also goes down. Alongside, government is incentivizing either through state incentives or some of the central schemes also on setting up of the charging infrastructure. So that should also move along in times to come. The GST rate has been narrowed. Previously, there was a lot of gap between EV was at 5% and internal combustion engine was at 28%, plus compensation cess was also there. And now with the small segment cars coming down at 18%, the gap has been narrowed between 5 and 18. So with that, the electric vehicles already being at 5%, it's difficult to expect anything more from the government on that front. But if some sort of capital or working capital ease can be brought in through inverted duty refund formula, like I mentioned, if we can add a capital goods or input services in it, it will go a long way in the sector. Secondly, if the cars are exported from India, on that front also the refund is blocked for capital goods. So these kind of working capital advantages can be brought in through GST input credit liquidation, and it will anyway improve the affordability, because it all gets calculated in the value of the car when it is sold. From a green mobility perspective, the government is focused on Make in India. Right now is the time for Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India. In line with that, government launched schemes also. The production linked incentive scheme specifically covers manufacture of electric vehicles only. It does not cover hybrid, it does not cover internal combustion engine, it only covers zero emission. Similarly, government has come up with another scheme, which is the ACC PLI scheme. It is for the batteries, so that the import dependency can be reduced and we can manufacture in India and be self-reliant not only for India but export also. And now recently government has also announced another scheme, which is the rare earth magnet scheme. Now this product also goes for electric vehicle manufacturing. So while customs duty relaxations are there, but eventually India is focused on making in India, either for India or for export purpose. But any scheme to fructify in India also, there has to be a customs roadmap, because we still have some level of import dependency for raw materials or for components which are still not available. So till the time the production stabilizes in India, customs roadmap layout is necessary so that we become self-dependent in times to come, and there is no production discontinuation also.
Okay.
Having said that, there is still a higher customs rate when you import a full car in India. So you'll see in the luxury segment, the cars that come in, they attract a customs rate of 70% and 100%. And on top of that, there is GST also. So ultimately, government's intention is that if the luxury cars can be imported into India, then the customers should pay the price. But the full focus is on domestic manufacturing of cars for personal usage here in India as well as export market. 2025 has been a good year for the automotive sector, especially the turning point has been GST 2.0, which came in September, and since then there has been an uptick in the sales of whether passenger vehicles or commercial vehicles or three-wheelers. Even two-wheelers have seen a very good demand. So this momentum is likely to continue in 2026 also. For electric vehicles, the government has already kept the rate at a very low percentage of 5%, and if that continues, the sales will also keep coming along. Additionally, there are some expectations, especially for the automotive sector on EVs, which suffers a higher duty rate when it purchases inputs and components, and when it sells, the GST is at 5%. So in that case, the inverted duty is allowed as refund, but it's only the inputs and components which are applied. Therefore, the expectation is that if somehow capital goods as well as input services can also be brought in as a refund, it will help the automotive sector on the EV front. So like I said that GST rate is already at 5% and government has launched scheme also. But for a successful uptake of the scheme, the manufacturing has to happen, and therefore if the scheme can be revamped in a way that there are more domestic value addition which is prescribed or a lesser investment threshold, then we will have a better manufacturing in the country for the EV. Additionally, there are CAFE norms also, which is corporate average fuel efficiency, which is likely to come up, and companies are already planning ahead while it is yet to see the light of the day, but they are planning, and as and when this comes as a regulation, it will be incentivizing any sort of electrification or hybridization, and companies are already investing in R&D and efficient technologies to bring this in future. Of course, the supporting infrastructure has to be set up across the country so that the electric vehicle drivers do not face any challenges in charging their vehicle. At the same time, if the charging of the vehicle can also be brought at a lower GST of 5%, then the cost of owning the vehicle also goes down.